Hi everyone, today I'm going to introduce a pure trading approach based on Markov region switching model. The plan that I'm going to be going through is as follows. So first, I will give you a quick introduction to know the main ideas of the approach, then discuss the basic concept behind it, and we'll follow it by the strategies derived from it, and finally, a conclusion. So a quick word about me, my name is Andy Lin, and I'm currently a quantitative researcher at Houston & Sons, and also a student studying finance and electrical engineering at National Taiwan University. This presentation, as well as the module that is present in the ArbitrageLab, are based on the paper called A Region Switching Relative Value Arbitrage Rule published in 2009. So the traditional pure trading strategy usually fails when fundamental or some economic reason cause a structural break on one of the assets in the peer. This break will cause a temporary spread deviation formed by the peer to become persistent spread deviations, which will not revert. Under this circumstance, betting on the spread to revert to its historical mean will take a loss. The idea here to overcome the problem was to detect whether the deviations of the tradable process are temporary or longer lasting using Markov region switching model, and combine the Markov region switching model and the pure trading strategy. And below, we will first describe the assumption behind the approach, then introduce the strategy proposed by the author, and finally, the way to execute the strategy step by step. Now let's go to the basic concepts. So here we assume the security price XT, which is usually a spread of a pair of assets, follow the formula shown here, where ST denotes the current region determined by the Markov region switching model. So both the mean and variance of the security price will switch between two values over time. And here, a two-stage first-order Markov region switching process for ST is considered with the following transition probabilities P and Q, where 1 indicates a region with a higher mean and 2 indicates a region with a lower mean. So we can see from a figure that the spread between crude oil and natural gas has gone from a low region to a high region. Next, let's talk about the strategy. The idea here is straightforward. Suppose the spread process is in a high region, and we observe that it deviates below the mean by a certain amount. In that case, we take a long trade on the spread, only if the probability of the process staying in a high region is bigger than a certain threshold. In another case, if we observe that it deviates above the mean by a certain amount, we take a low trade on the spread without any more restrict. In a low region, the logic is similar but opposite. And here are detailed steps to execute the strategy. So first, we need to select the trading pairs. In this paper, they use the stock index component as an asset pool and applied the configuration test for pair selection. And one can use the same method as the paper did or other pair selection algorithm like the distant approach for finding trading pairs. Next, we need to construct the spread series. In this paper, they use the relative value as the spread series. One can use the same method as the paper did or another formula. Then we estimate the parameters of the Markov region switching model. After that, we can determine the signal of the strategy. And finally, decide the trade action based on the signal and the current position. So a quick conclusion. This paper provides a trading strategy based on Markov region switching model, which is varies from traditional one. It also gives us an idea to detect structural breaks on the spread formed by a peer so that we can reduce the chance of huge losses due to structural changes. And it is worth noting that this strategy will fail if there is a region higher than the current region or a region lower than the current low region in the future. At this time, things like no such region has appeared in the historical data. So the strategy can detect the structural break successfully. And another thing that needs to be noted is that The Markov region switching model often fails to fit when switching ring and switching variance are assumed. This will make a signal impossible to determine, which is in turn makes the strategy impossible to execute. And here are the references for this slide. One can study a reference paper for more detailed discussion on this topic. And thank you for the attention. And the link of the slide is available in the description.